just like P-Scare, we're back again. Oh my goodness. Wow. Welcome back, everyone. I don't know. We'll have to copy this link. I don't know if we'll have to share this.
We have to share it to everyone.
Yes, we'll have to share it. Let me share.
When do you need to share it?
I'm trying to copy the link and share it. Let me on WhatsApp.
So let me check the channel from here, because normally if you subscribe, if they're subscribed to your channel, they should be able to see when you're live.
Okay, you're still here. I'm just sharing. Let me give you some time to come in. Hello, please. If you're coming in, just say hello. Put something in the comment section, please. I'm so sorry. Technical issues. We're sorry.
Okay, yeah, it's showing now.
Okay. Hi, IJ. Thank you for coming back. I can see you, IJ. Oh my goodness. Hello, IJ. Thank you for coming here. Let's just give a little more time. Maybe like we can start the real gist from 8:30. While we wait for a few persons to come in, I'm still trying to share the link. Still trying to share.
Wow.
Hello, everyone. I have 3 persons in the building. We still have like 2 minutes to go, or 3. Please drop in the how was your week? Today is Friday. It's Friday. How was your week? I hope your week has been going well. Thank you so much for your understanding. Thank you all for your understanding. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your patience, Franca. Thank you so much. Thank you.
No, it's not a problem at all. Okay, we have 5 people now, so.
Okay. Okay, you're welcome back, everyone. I'm so sorry. We had a little technical issues. We know how it is with the system, network issues, internet, the way it is. Sometimes there are glitches here and there, but we are back now and we can go straight into the topic. So like I said from the beginning, we are talking about the relationships that failed MOHBAD. And for some of us, we are already conversant with the story of MOHBAD. We may not know it, like we may not have details of the story, but at least you must have heard it. Must have heard it from a friend, from a loved one, from just anyone. Hi, Akere. Thank you for coming here.
Hi, Akere.
Yeah. So must have heard it from somebody, a close friend, must have gone online and then seen loads of talk on MOHBAD. So we're here today to talk about the relationships that failed MOHBAD. So with me is Franca Chiedu, a beautiful woman, gorgeous, intelligent, very outspoken people. Trust me when I say this. She's been a family friend for a long time. And I just called her. Funny enough, I called you today, Franca, to just give you a heads up that, I really wanted to join my life. And she just accepted. Well, she just said, you know what? I'm jumping on this with you. So thank you so much. I'm super grateful for agreeing to join this live today. Thank you so much. Thank you. And trust me, we have loads of more topics to come. If you look at my notes where I do my prep, I wrote your name in certain topics I want us to talk about. You have no idea. But there are more topics to talk about. Thank you so much for coming here.
No worries.
So let's just go straight to the topic of the day, the relationships that failed MOHBAD. But I will want Franca to introduce herself formally to every one of us. So Franca, over to you.
Okay, there's not a lot to know about me. My name is Franca Chiedu, and I live in the UK. I have worked in the entertainment industry for a very long time,
Wow.
but since moving to the UK, I've kind of taken a step back. Not necessarily, I'm still there, but not as active as I used to be while I was in Nigeria. So I think the leg I have in this conversation is my work from the entertainment side of things, having worked as the editor in chief of Complete Fashion magazine, about 10 years now. And now currently the editor in chief of Blank magazine. So I think that I know one or two things about this conversation. I don't know a lot about MOHBAD. I'll say I used to dance to his music a lot. And I think now that he's dead, unfortunately, and praying that his soul continues to rest in peace, I've now known more. So all the conversations that have been going on or whatever he's been posting previously, I never actually was, I was not aware of all of those things. I have to be honest. And this new entertainers, I don't know a lot about them, but I just enjoy their music. So I hope I can bring something interesting to this conversation. I don't like to be hyped too much so that I don't I don't disappoint, but hopefully we're gonna be all right. So thank you guys for having me. And yeah, over to you, Sarah. Sarah,
Okay. Okay, sorry for some, it went off at some point.
okay.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Franca, for coming here. So we are just going to go straight into the conversation for today. We had previously on the other line, we had about 12 people watching, but now it's just 4. But we can just start. I believe that at some point they are going to join in, on the conversation. So the relationships that failed Mohbad. We're going to start. If you look at the whole story, and one of the reasons why I'm even very excited that we're doing it today is because since the passing of Mohbad passed on the 12th of September, to be precise. He passed on the 12th of September, and today is 8th of October. That's almost, we have literally 6 more days to 1 full month since this young man passed on. And if somebody might be saying, okay, who is MOHBAD? MOHBAD is a Nigerian entertainer, musician, a promising one, a superstar in his own right, a father, a husband, a son, a friend, and this young man unfortunately had he met his untimely death, and there were lots of unforeseen or untold stories surrounding his demise. And there has been speculations, there has been suspicions, there has been finger pointing, there has been lots of things, lots of calling out. People, they've been calling out that, oh, you did this to MOHBAD, you did that to MOHBAD. So, and we don't want to dabble into every area. The area we want to focus on here, because there's actually loads of factors surrounding this case. They are still having lots of investigation going on. The police is also investigating it, and they've at least come out today to tell, they had a press release today to tell us where they are at the moment. But then we want to focus on the relationship aspect of it. And one of the reasons why I chose to go look into the relationship aspect of it is because this channel, like we all know, is relationship centered. No gray areas with Sazzy is relationship centered. We talk about relationships, all kinds of relationships, marital relationship with your children, friends, singles, married, anything, any kind of relationship. That is what we talk about here. So we are big on relationships here, especially healthy relationships. So I decided to focus on the relationships that failed Mohbad. Now, let me take us aback so that we can understand a bit of background story. Now, going by what we have been seeing so far on social media, I'm going to say it here that honestly, I had no idea who Mohbad was up until the 13th of September. In all honesty, I had no idea who he was. I have heard just one of his songs, just one. And well, I really do not know who sang the song. Sometimes we move our bodies to music, but we really don't know who sang them. Yes, I've heard just one of his songs. But one thing is, I started reading, I don't know why I took this interest. I picked interest on this case, and then I was just jumping from one person's life to the other person's life, trying to understand what really happened. And then I got to discover that this boy was signed into a musical label, a music label, because as musicians, sometimes, when we talk about a music label, you want to belong to a production team or a unit, a crew. You want these people to manage you as an artist. You want these people to manage you. You want them
Yeah.
to go out there to look out for gigs. They go out there to look out for gigs for you. They go out there to sort out everything. They are the ones that go to discuss with anybody that wants to invite the promoters. They discuss with promoters. They just try to literally make your life easy. And of course, if you are signed to a record label, it's like you are working for that record label. So we know the aspect, the financial aspect that goes into it, the contracting and everything. They sign an agreement, whatever percentage, what percentage is coming to the label, what percentage is going to the artist, that is being signed. Lots of technicalities involved in it. So this boy was signed, MOHBAD was signed to the Malian record label owned by a Fashola Aziz or Abdulaziz, I can't remember his full name, but then popularly known as Naira Marley. And he was signed to this record label. And I think from the beginning, it was all kumbaya. Everything was going on smoothly. Everything was going on fine until we started hearing stories. I think this story started popping up from 2022 when MOHBAD decided to go live to talk about things that they were doing to him. They were after his life. They were threatening him. Lots of things happened. I also don't want to focus on that angle. But then I just want to pick that part where he talked about, he wanted to leave the record label. He started by saying, oh, he wanted to change his manager. And then caused it brewed another issue. And that was the beginning of his woes. That was actually the beginning of his woes. And they started having fallout, started having misunderstandings and fights and everything, until I think he waited for when his contract was to expire. And then he finally left the record label and decided to start something on his own. But you see, you would think that this young man decided to leave and start something on his own. But then I think it heightened. After he left the record label, it heightened. And he started accusing people of coming after him. They were attacking him and bullying him wherever he went to. They literally make his life a living hell. From the videos, and allegedly, because until the police comes out to say that this is exactly what has happened, until they give us a definite statement and answer, give us statements to all our curiosities, I'm going to say out here, allegedly, he was coming out to say that people were after his life. He called the Sam Larry man. He called, of course, the Malian record, and of course, the boss of the Malian record being Naira Marley. So he tweeted quite a lot. He talked about it. They are chasing him. Oh, world, help me. There were lots of times we saw live videos. He went live and he was saying, if anything happens to me, these are the people to hold responsible, because there has been lots of threats, against him or towards him. And then people in his circle were aware of all these things. I got to know that his parents were aware of this bullying. They were aware of the threats. I got to know that, in fact, his wife was present in some of the incidents that happened, some of the bullying and fighting incidents that happened. Everywhere the boy went to, it was a living hell. They would come there, beat him up, seize things from him, beat up his own crew, and it was just too much. And that also caused another medical condition. The boy became a hypertensive patient at age 27, sorry. In fact, this year he turned 27. Last year when this whole brouhaha started, he was 26 as at last year when this whole thing started. But this year he turned 27 before his unfortunate demise. Now, everything has been going on, and have been following this case back to back to back. And I just felt like, no. You know what? I feel like there are some relationships that failed this young man. I don't think that it would have ended up this way if certain people played vital roles, in the life of this young man. And those certain people are the people we want to talk about tonight. Those certain people are the people we want to mention tonight. So I don't know, Franca, if you have anything to say, or I can start from mentioning the first person that is in my head from the people that failed MOHBAD. Yeah.
Yeah, no, of course you can carry on. I think the only thing I have to say is that we like I said to you earlier, we have to be a bit more cautious about some of the things that we put out there, because obviously we are not currently in the situation. We don't really know everything beyond what we've read online or what we've seen. And when you talk about the industry, the Nigerian, I think entertainment in general is a deadly industry to be in. You can have hypertension just being there. So, let's not even go into the pressure that comes from being in a record label, just being in that industry, the pressure to belong, to be seen. You constantly are working extremely hard. So you just keep giving and giving and giving. So on top of the fact that people will be putting some pressure on the side from the record label, there's also that, the fan base that you have to satisfy with all of that. So I know there's a lot that actually contributed to the boys' death, and we're going to look into all of that today, maybe not extensively, but to the aspect of relationships. But I feel like there's still a lot of people in the industry that are struggling. So this conversation will help people, hopefully help other people. One time, Kiss Daniel called the industry cabal. You saw the way everybody jumped on him, wanted to shred him to pieces, but he didn't lie then, and now you can see that what he said then could not, it couldn't be more accurate now. Look at what we're seeing eventually. So yeah. I'm happy for you to jump into, different aspects of relationship that you failed in, and right. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you so much, Franca. Now, if you're watching from wherever you're watching, please, can you just drop where you're watching, your location? You don't have to be watching from Nigeria, watching from Ghana, watching from South Africa. Just drop your location, watching from the United Kingdom. And then whatever, if you have an idea, you have an opinion, you have a suggestion, you have a comment, please drop it in the comment section as we go along, because we're all here to actually learn from one another and, of course, get informed as well. So the first relationship personally for me that I feel failed Mohbad is Mohbad's wife. Yes, I'm not coming here to act like, oh, if I was in the situation, I would have, I'm the super girl of all time and everything. No, but we want to critically look at the people close to that young man that failed him. And for me, the first person I want to beam my light on is Mohbad's wife. Yes, watching from Nigeria, Rita, thank you. Thank you. So the person I want to actually talk about, the first relationship for me that I feel failed Mohbad in a way. I'm not saying that she did everything wrong. No, I believe that this young lady must have done certain things right. But I feel like at this point, I'm going to call her as the first person. I feel like Mohbad's wife failed Mohbad in few ways, in certain ways. And I'm going to explain why I feel that way. Now, I can only imagine, I wouldn't say that I understand totally, just like you talked about the industry, but I can only imagine the torture or the pain that young man went through. I can only imagine the fears he had. You know, you imagine if, Franca, that you wake up every day and you were scared of your life. You're scared. You have fear of the unknown. You can't go out. At some point, if you listen to that boy's interview and things people saying about him, he was literally a prisoner in his body. He wasn't even coming out of his house. He was always at home because he felt like people are after me. Something is going on. I really cannot, I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know who they are bringing today. So I'm staying indoors. And this woman was with him. Remember, he's been with this girl for about 10 years, going by their story. He's been with her for about 10 years. And of course, recently, he became his wife. She became his wife, rather. And I want to point my finger on Mohbad's wife to say that I feel like she should have cried even more. I feel like she should have gone out to do a live. I feel like she should have called out the Nigerian police. Go live. You see, there is this young man called Portable. There's this musician in Nigeria called Portable. I don't even follow him, to be very honest. But I get to see lots of times when, blogs carried his stories. He's always shouting out. He's always crying. Oh, they are ripping me. Oh, this is happening. Oh, world, you need to hear me. Oh, do you get what I mean? You know, the world is now has become is a global village. That you turn on this, like what we are doing right now. We're on a live. Anybody, everyone all over the world can literally see what we are doing right now. That is how far these things travel. By the time, at least for the ones that she witnessed, because she was a witness to some of the attacks, she was a witness to some of the bullying. The ones that she witnessed as a wife, I can also understand the angle of the husband saying, don't get involved. I can understand the angle of the man. You know, we understand the way men can be sometimes. No, this is my fight. Oh, I don't want my family to get involved, because he's trying to protect them. And of course, just recently they had a baby. So I can imagine what the young man was trying to avoid. He's protecting his wife. He's protecting his baby as well. But as a woman, you get to see the pain of this man. You get to see his worries, his fears, and you have also witnessed several threats. Why don't you go out to cry out? I will do it. Putting myself in that shoes. I'm not blaming her that she caused anything. I'm only saying, I'm trying to point out certain areas that she should have been more proactive. And even if she tried to be proactive and it stopped her, in this situation, I'm going to be disobedient. There are sometimes disobedience pays. Disobedience pays. Sometimes, to be very honest with you, it's especially in a situation of life and death. You need to speak up. You can't be quiet. What did she say? Who did she call? Call out the Nigerian police. Call people. Call prominent people. Call celebrities. Call their names on the live. Please, can you people call these people to order? Call even traditional rulers. Because these people, they are Yorubas. They are from the tribe, the Yoruba tribe, speaking tribe. Call traditional rulers and say, look at what is going on with my husband. Look at the intimidation that he's experiencing. I can't keep quiet. My husband is dying within. I can't keep quiet. This man is losing it. Say something. At least people will know that the wife spoke out. People will know that this girl was crying out. People will know that she did a lot just to put a voice out there. Just to put a voice out there, just to support him, because she witnessed it. I can't, to be very fair to you, Franca, I cannot be in a situation where someone attacks my husband once, twice, thrice, and then I'll be quiet. I won't do that. I will speak up.
Oh,
I will write the police. I will write the Nigerian police or the British police. I will do whatever I have to do just to put myself out there. And then I just want to give us this story. Let me give you a story before you come in here. I don't know. I know you have your own angle, you understand, regarding the wife, but let me give a story.
Yeah.
I remember about maybe 10 years ago. My husband and I, we turned 14 years in marriage this month. No, last month, September. Yes. Praise God. We all know.
Congratulations.
Praise God.
Wow. That's a
So
deep,
God's
man.
glory. We turned 14 years in marriage last month. Now, about 10 years ago, before we had Sarita and Serena, they're 8 years old. Before we had Sarita and Serena, a particular Sunday, my husband and I went for my dad's Thanksgiving. My dad, he was not feeling too strong. And then, after everything, he became well, he had to go for a Thanksgiving. And then we attended that Thanksgiving in Nigeria. Then we're still in Nigeria, in Port Harcourt to be precise. Now we went for that Thanksgiving, and then after the Thanksgiving, there was party after party, and we went home to party with my parents. And afterwards, my husband and I were headed home. We just literally drove out of our clothes, my parents' clothes, and we're trying to navigate the major route so we can do the U-turn from where we're supposed to do the U-turn.
Yeah.
Thank God. Franca, I must tell you this. Thank God we were on our seatbelts that day. Thank God we were on our seatbelts that day. And from nowhere, we just heard boom from nowhere. I thought that because the place actually is very close to the Port Harcourt Stadium, when the stadium road in Port Harcourt, people that live in Port Harcourt know where I'm talking about. The place is very close to the stadium. I thought that my car had landed me in the stadium. We did not know what happened to us. We only knew that our car was just turning. We did not know
Wow.
what happened to us. But apparently, some people ran us over.
Oh no.
Yeah, and you know what? We were about going to do a U-turn, so we
Yeah.
take the other lane. So we're
Mhm.
actually on our right of way. Now, these young men, they were actually driving on the wrong lane. So they
Oh.
took off. They didn't have their headlight on. They just took off on speed and carried us off. Now, by the time the car came to a halt, I was asking my husband, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are you alive? I was hitting. Can you hear me? Can you? At some point, he now started talking. He said, yeah, I can hear you. He was asking me, are you okay? Are you okay? He said, I said, let's run out of the car. Let's come out. Because we didn't even know where we were. We didn't know what just happened. We now found a way, but his door could not open because they had battered the
Oh
driver's side.
no.
They had battered the driver's side, so he managed to come out of my side. I'm talking about an accident that caused airbags to pop out. The
Wow.
airbags of my car popped out, and the airbags of their own car also popped out. And then when we
Oh,
came
that's crazy.
outside, when we were
Mhm.
trying to gain consciousness, when we came out of the car, we were trying to know, where are we? What are we alive? I hope it's not our spirit that is coming out of a car. We're just trying to put one and two together. What just happened to us? The next thing I saw, Franca, these two young men pounced on my husband. I am telling you, at least we are alive to tell the story.
Bounce on him
Immediately
for what?
they jumped out of their car and pounced on my husband. Started hitting him with different things. These are people that God just literally saved this couple from death. And they came out and pounced on him. They were hitting him with stuff, and he did not even understand what was going on. He was confused. I was confused. The next thing, I started jumping on them. I started screaming. I was shouting. I was doing everything. I picked up sticks. I picked up things. I was jumping on these people. What are you doing? You almost killed us. I was doing all that, and there was a hotel nearby. People would know. If I call Chennai's Garden Hotel, people that live in Port Harcourt will know. People that guests that were in that hotel started running down from the topmost floor because they
Mhm.
saw what happened. So apparently these young men were drunk and they
Oh.
ran us over because the stench, as they were hitting us and doing all those things, I was perceiving the stench coming out of them. They were crazily drunk and they were hitting us for being alive. They were
Wow.
hitting us for being alive. But you see, my voice went even higher. I was fighting, I was
Mhm.
screaming, I was calling for help. It was drizzling that night. The road was a bit quiet. Some persons, even to be very honest with you, some drivers drove off. They were seeing what was going on, they were just driving off. We're in the middle of the road. So
As
people
usual.
started gathering at some point. People started gathering, coming together. And some men came downstairs and held them. We saw what happened. You would have killed these people. You would have killed this couple. If I don't have to
Wow.
say this, YouTube will not give me a strike. You would have
Oh,
ended, that word. You would have
oh
deleted
my
these people. I
goodness.
think I should use that word. You would have deleted these people. And look at what you're doing. You're beating them. You're fighting them. At that point, people started gathering and gathering. And when the other young man saw that this was really hard,
Mhm.
I picked up my phone, called my dad. Look at what is going on. We were almost deleted by somebody. The other boy took off. He ran away because he saw that, oh, this is really going far. And then the other one could not run. We held him down. People held him down. And everything ended up at the police station. Why am I saying this? Imagine that I decided to be mute. Imagine that I decided to be intimidated by their action. Imagine I decided to be quiet. I was calling for help. That is the role that woman would or should have played. I understand the dynamics of marriage. I understand where, when a man says, don't do this, you don't want to disobey your husband. I understand all that. But when you see that this person's life is at stake, you see that this person's health is at stake, you see that a lot of things will go south, I think at that point, you need to speak up. I think at that point, you need to jump, do it. Because at the end of the day, you might just be grateful that you did it.
Okay. So I will play the devil's advocate. So I'm going to take a different direction to this conversation. And before I go that way, I want to say that I totally hear you. And to an extent, I agree. But where I differ from what you're saying is the fact that you and I can do something like that. You and I, we look like, for the want of words, I hope YouTube doesn't, give us strikes. We look like crazy women, right? We look like people that, can go cuckoo when the opportunity arises. And so when you say, I see myself there, because that's my personality. That's how, whether it's my husband or anybody, I will jump in there and say, come on, don't do this, right?
Yeah.
So it's how I'm built is, I would never just sit down and not do anything extra. In fact, I would do more than my husband. I will go above and beyond and under and everywhere. I would turn up, I would turn the whole house. I would burn it down, right?
Yeah.
But that's my personality. And that's the level of exposure that I have. So I want to extend some empathy to this woman, not I want to call her girl for this conversation because I'm thinking of my 20-something-year-old person.
Yeah.
And myself at 20-something and married and, having a child and I want to also think about myself from being a young girl that schooled in the University of Benin, a very crazy school where, you're face to face with cold boys that have all sorts of ammunitions. I don't want to cast myself or cast anybody here, but if you've grown up, if you've been in that setting where these boys smoke nonsense and smoke all those things and act out, and every time I think about the story and what I kind of imagine in my head, and I may be wrong about this, I always see this cult-like situation happening. It felt like they were in this, so they call it a music label or something, but I don't. In my head, I'm thinking this was a cult, right? Or this is a cult. This is some sort of, because people weren't necessarily paying attention to the boys' lyrics, like Naira Marley's, whatever his name is, I never can pronounce that name. People, if you listen to some of the lyrics that in his song, he says things like, "Oh, how many people he's put on the ground," and all of those stupid shit. I'm not afraid of him in any way because these are Nalenas then be, but let's keep that on the side. But the truth is, as young people who are in that thing that they have, they're pretending to be a management company for music and the rest of them. If you listen to the story, you would tell that there's a lot of aggression that is within that group already. And being a young girl that your man has found himself in this situation, something that your man cannot handle. One, there's a personality there. I don't know the woman's personality. I don't know if she's the type that is strong, that can fight for herself and the rest of her generation. I don't know if she's the quiet type. I haven't really heard much or seen much of the woman. And that's why I'm extending this empathy to say, I don't know, she may be the quiet type. She may be the fearful type. She may not be that person that has a lot of fire in her that can take on anybody. So maybe that's why she may also be the shy type as well. So maybe she doesn't even know her way around, shouting. And, some people are not exposed to that extent. People don't know that they can do those things and even get a reaction. To her, it may be that MOHBAD is shouting, nobody's talking, nobody's answering him. What am I going to say? He's a star. And even when the star is screaming, nobody's listening. So who am I to say something? So it could be that. It could also be a young woman who's found herself in this court-like situation where there's a lot of aggression, and taking her out will not be anything difficult for them. Because I even understand that there was a point where he asked his mom to hide so that they don't go and kidnap his mother and all of that stuff. So you could see that there was a culture of fear that was already existing in this setup where these people are, where they were doing whatever they were doing. So this woman may have been, a victim herself. So it's possible that she also was struggling or dealing with the same fears that Mohbad, was struggling with as well. So it could just be the same thing. Not just because she's not screaming or we are not seeing her with bruises and everything, it didn't mean that she equally did not have the same exact experience that he was having. Do you understand? And I'm just a bit worried about putting so much pressure on women as a woman, you should do it for your husband, you must do it for your husband. We are just human beings that are in love with other human beings, and there's only so much we can do. And I don't even think it's because it's your husband. I think that even if it's your brother that those people attacked, you were going to pounce on them. I think even if it was your friend or anybody else, you would pounce on them because that's your personality and you have the strength to do that. You have the experience, you have the exposure. But when I look at Mohbad and the whole setup around them, I see people that are completely inexperienced. Then there's also the money factor as well. Money is power. In Nigeria, you can see, look at these guys, they even have the opportunity to do interviews when they should actually be dragged in for questioning, right? So there's all those things, those different factors that, that may have played parts in why she wasn't as forthcoming as you would normally expect her. So that's why I'm trying to extend some grace to her. So I hear you. Women that can talk should be able to speak up. So even in my own house, my dynamic is quite different. Like my husband is laid back. I'm the outspoken one. If you try, if you do anyhow, you will see anyhow type of person. But my husband is just like, just ignore them, just walk away. Just that it pisses me off sometimes. Let me be quiet when I'm saying this, but obviously, so it's the whole dynamic. So it could be that he's the shouting type, he can scream, and she's the quiet one, or the same things that he's dealing with, she was also struggling with those things as well. We can only wait to hear from her whenever she's able to speak up. So from these whole aspects I've mentioned, and on top of the fact that I'm just a little bit worried about being negative towards her because right now she's down.
I
So
get it.
I would forgive, so when we are in our own gossip, in our own group chats, we can say, oh, more, try this with my husband. You don't die. Do you understand? Do whatever. But in this situation, I would say yes, there's more that's expected of her. But her personality is played a role here, and we don't know much about her personality. It could just be the setup. And if you imagine being in that place where you're arguing with Naira Marley, and then 1,000 boys are jumping and everybody's trying to get a goal, like people are hitting the girl, the boy. What are you going to say? Omar, I've entered a custody and I've seen boys with guns. Only God knows how I ended up in my house. But if you see how these aggressive boys that have smoked whatever, you see the way they are when they come out in their hundreds, no matter how crazy you are as a woman, I don't think the first thing is flight. You're not
To
thinking
go for
through.
cover. Yeah. You
The
take
first thing is
cover
flight.
first.
And then
Yeah.
I'm talking about calling Nigerian police out. Niger police, calling them out. What's that going to do? What would we do? At the end of the day, they
Register
will find
something.
a story and wrap you people up and throw two of you inside the prison.
Yeah,
So,
and of course,
there's no justice
to
in
be fair
Nigeria naturally.
to her, to be fair to her from that angle as well. Even the young man made he put in a petition against these people. He actually did something,
Exactly.
and
Exactly. And nothing happened.
that's another angle, another angle too, because the society where he found himself, they actually failed him as well. The
Yeah.
Nigerian police also failed him, because if this young man had put out a petition to call out people to say, I feel like my life is in danger and I've experienced XYZ. I
Yeah.
think you should call these people in for questioning. I think these people have to be stopped. I think a warning should be taken out. He played his role. But for some reason, we are still waiting to hear, because I wouldn't want to come out here to make some blank statements until we get, maybe we'll have to do a part 2 of this story, just for
Yeah.
us to know. Because I want to know the role the Nigerian police played after that boy put out a petition. I want to know the role that they play, because apparently, looking at it allegedly from what we are seeing, nothing happened. Although
I
I
think did
heard
they say that they put in a counter claim as
that
well?
they
Didn't
put in
they?
a counter, yeah, I heard that they put a counter claim, and you're putting in a counter claim. Somebody actually laid a complaint, wrote a petition against you, and then
Yeah.
you did not invite them. According to them, as well, allegedly, I heard that
Mm-hmm.
they said, oh, they were invited, and then the young man did not show up, according to the story. But
Oh,
I'm still going to wait for some time, because it's still unfolding. A lot is unfolding. We are going to understand
Guys,
why
guys,
they
please
did
feel
not.
free to share your thoughts in the chat. So let's
Yes,
move the
please
conversation. You guys
share
tell
your
us what
thoughts
you
in the
think.
chat. If there's anything you know, any story, anything you know, please put it in the comment section, please. If there's
If you have
anything
an
you know,
opinion
just
about it,
tell
we're
us
good
what
to
you
hear from
think.
you guys as
If you
well.
share the same opinion as us, it's fine. Please put it in the chat. Thank you. Okay, let's go to, we have talked about the Nigerian police, but just briefly, because we want to be sure, that this is the role they play. We've talked about the wife. Another relationship I feel like failed that young man was parenting. The parents. I feel like the
Yeah.
parents also failed him to an extent. I feel like they
Mhm.
failed him to an extent. And how? Still the same way, the same pattern, the same everything. Everybody being quiet. How do you see evil and keep running away? How do you see that your child? I don't need my child's permission to jump anyone. I don't need, no, in this case, because let's give, because we're talking about giving the wife grace, right? Oh, maybe she understands the whole thing. The man must have spoken to her. Oh, back off. I will handle this. I'm a man. I will do it my own way. Let's assume that all those scenarios played. Let's assume regarding the wife. Now, as parents, okay,
Mhm.
I do not need my child's permission to protect my child.
Of course.
I don't know if you get where I'm coming from.
Of
I do
course.
not need their permission, as it were, to protect them, old or young. I understand parenting, at least parenting that goes into parenting an adult and parenting a minor.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
understand, okay, because of course
Mhm.
I was once a minor and I'm an adult now. But
Yeah.
I tell you the truth, as a parent, no matter how old my children get, and I get to
Mhm.
hear that
Yeah.
somebody is trying to play a fast one on them.
Mhm.
See, Bishop T.D. Jakes said something couple of weeks ago. I bumped into a video when I was watching, and he said
Yeah.
something. He said, "If you want to know who has my back, if you want to know who has my back, if you want to know who protects me, jump me, jump me, and then you will know." Do you get what I mean? Because I do not need my child's approval to do what I need to do, because I need to protect. As a matter of fact, I will put myself in harm's way for my child
Mhm.
because you are protecting the child. Okay. Now, what am I saying? The parents should have gone a notch higher. I also heard, allegedly, I'm always using the word allegedly, just to,
Yeah.
just to be on the safe side. I
Mhm.
also heard, allegedly, that the parents of MOHBAD went to talk to the boss of the record label.
Yeah.
I don't want to call his name so much because I'm not even interested.
Mhm.
So I heard that the parents of MOHBAD went to speak to the boss of the record label,
Yeah.
and that did not do anything. Although they denied, of course, there's going to be denial here and there.
Of
Nobody
course.
will come out open to say, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. In as much as I believe that sometimes some people could be that crazy because, money, affluence, wealth, power, there's a lot of power play going on here.
Of course.
The politics is somewhere in this story. But then The parents went to talk to this young man, and they had to, they knew that something was going on. And they had, in fact, allegedly, they went to beg. Let's use the word beg. Begging for their child's life. Really? As who are their God? Begging for it. Do you understand? They went to beg. They went to plead with the management. They went to plead with the boss to say, please, if he has offended you, if he has done anything, we are saying, please let him go. Please forgive him. I also watched the interview, because after this whole thing happened, people said speaking up. That was even when the mom, because if you know the way bloggers upload these things, and you go to the
Yeah.
comment section, you see people. I will see lots of questions. Say, where is the mom? Where is the mom? Is the mom still here with us, or the mom has gone to the great beyond? Because if there is anybody that will make a louder noise in a situation like this, is a mother. Is a mother. Where is the mom? And I came to realize that the mom is actually there. And then the story is still the same. Oh, my son told me not to speak. Oh, my son asked me to hide. Oh, he was even afraid that he didn't want anyone, for fear of kidnap, for fear of this, for fear of that. Like, fear of what, really? Fear of what? It's there's this popular saying that goes, it is a risk not to even take a risk. It is
Yeah.
risky not to even take a risk. Because somebody's life is at stake. We're talking about life. We're not talking about going to fight over a landed property. We're not talking about money. We're talking about life. There is nothing that is more valuable than someone's life. And this
Yeah.
boy confided in you people. You went to speak, and he continued. What did you do? You were hiding. He said hide, you were hiding. Your child said hide, you were hiding. I also understand the role of exposure in this. I also understand the role of education in this. I understand the role of personality play, okay, in
Yeah.
this. But then, not when it comes to protecting your child.
So on the parent side of things, I agree with you that the parents failed him, but the failure did not start when he joined this record label. They failed
Exactly.
him. They failed him the day they decided to bring a child into this world that they were not necessarily going to be there for. I'm one of those outliers. I say, if you are not able to do it, don't force,
Mm.
don't bring children and you can't,
Yeah, yeah, that you cannot
you
cater
know,
for, you cannot care for.
so I think that the parents failed him long before Mali came into the picture, right? They failed him from the time that, obviously, if your marriage is not working out, I would not advocate for you guys to stay there or do or die. That's not my philosophy personally. But irrespective of how your relationship ends, the children, their lives, their future, you cannot take for granted. If, in fact, I would speak to the devil, I will smile with the devil if my children's life and the success of, depends on, I will make peace with anybody. So I would say that the failure did not start today. The failure started from when this child
When he was
was,
born.
you know, because at the end of the day, if there was a strong presence, and you know that being present in your children's lives is not necessarily to give them money to eat or to give them money. Do you understand? There's a force, there's this presence that your parents have. I could give example with my mom. We didn't have, but I know that my mother's slap is is something that when you sleep and dream of it, you jump up from that nightmare, because when it lands, you see stars. Do you understand? My mother
Yes.
was not rich. So
Mm.
raising children is not about whether you can feed them or not feed them. That's safety, that safety net that you create by just being present. So I think with the whole experience of having his stepmom in the picture, his mother not being around, his upbringing is already was already chaotic in the first place anyway. So yes, I totally agree. I'm not saying that, to this point, because I will still go back to the whole power play money in Nigeria. I watched that disgusting video where the father was talking to this person. I don't even want to recall his name anymore,
Yeah.
because, and he was
And then he was
like
laying down there in bed, and then the
yeah, acting
parents
like
were,
a
the
dog,
mom was
and
even,
then
the mom
the
was
mother
even
was
on her
kneeling
knees. She
down.
was
Oh,
kneeling and begging.
I go
Literally,
chop bottle. I go chop bottle.
a,
Like I'm
a
gonna,
parent,
kill somebody,
a
right?
parent.
But at the end of the day, you see, it's the decision. These are decisions that the parents have made long before this situation. That's those decisions put them in that place, because their parents who don't have money, who don't take nonsense from you.
Exactly.
There are parents who don't, like my mother, when my mom is shouting at, as if back in the day, people thought we had, because when my mother would shout at you, if you like, as in you can't, when you are doing something bad, you're thinking of what your mother is going to do. And my mother did not have. So it's just that presence, the fact that there's a lot more that you do for your children than just providing them food and the rest of those
Exactly.
other things. And I think from that angle, the parents already failed him. I think that was a no-brainer. We don't even have to, because to the point where they can't even do anything beyond going to beg this lunatic
Mm.
that has no talent. I guess I can happily say that he has no talent, because there's a reason why they didn't want the boy to leave. The boy was the
Of
only person that had
course.
the talent in the group of
He was
drunken
living
men.
with the shine.
Exactly. And I watched the video recently, and they were doing a live whatever, and they were singing, and I'm just like, okay, this is why they didn't want the boy to go, because the boy was the only person that could sing, right? So to the point where somebody can look at you and be lying down, and you're begging them to free your son. Son, when
Your
I
child.
suffer this born, you dey grace. Who are you? Like seriously, like I don't understand. But you see, and that's the parents of those days. Like I don't know, because the parents of today, like if they say that, okay, let me say that, okay, is one of us, one of the parents of today that gave birth to MOHBAD. We died here. All of us could die here. Touch my pikin, and all of us could die. But you could see that there was already the fear that was already ongoing, but they've already failed as parents, because if they didn't fail the boy won't get to a point where he's in this
The,
cultic,
the
whatever they call that thing
quagmire.
that they were doing.
Lord God.
Do you understand? And now all the videos are coming out, and the boy, and sometimes I always say this just because we're family, we're related. For me, sometimes, sorry guys, I'm one of those outliers. Me and family, I just feel like, well, we're connected by blood. There are people that are not connected to you by blood that would lay down their lives for
Even do
you.
better. Yeah, they will do better
Yes.
for you.
So
Yeah.
for me, I don't, sometimes just because someone is your family, that's God's design from the get-go, but sometimes it doesn't always happen. To some people are not ready to put themselves out there for you, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you listen to the boy's lyrics, there were times where, where he said that he didn't see his mother for how many years.
Yeah. Yeah.
His father didn't have money, and then his stepmother didn't care.
Stepmom didn't care.
So in that kind of situation, this is you see a child that was basically trying to fend for himself,
He had
and this
no
is how
guardian, no protection, no
exactly,
parental care,
exactly,
nothing
exactly.
covering him. He was too
And let me tell you,
exposed for such a star. He was too
yeah,
exposed. Nothing
no,
covering him.
what happens in those kind of family dynamics is that when you've hustled from a poor family and you've hustled your way and made money, the power there's a power shift. Is you that is a child that now controls your parents.
Exactly.
And
I
yes,
understand.
that's what happens. That's what
But it doesn't
happens.
make any sense. It
Yes,
doesn't
so
make
you
any
see,
sense. It's not
but
supposed to be
you know
so.
that's very normal. It's very normal in Nigeria. Like when some children, it's not like parents that went to school and their stuff, and they're they have their pension, they have everything going. What do you want to tell them? But sometimes you notice that when the children come through that line of poverty and they've had to struggle and find their way themselves, there's always this power shift, and they listen to everything that their children say.
The,
When the boy says run, and then they forget their role as parents. At the end of the
mm,
day, this,
exactly. They are swapping
but
roles at this
there's
point.
still that you still have the experience as the parent.
Mhm.
You're supposed to still be able to direct encourage, show them
Exactly.
the way. So I think they kind of handed over their, they already handed over their role to the boy. The boy raised himself practically. Like even though his father
Mhm.
gave him money here and there, giving people money or paying for school fees is
That's
not,
not all they
that's not
need.
raising a
That's not
child.
that's not
There's a
raising
lot
a
that you imbibe
child.
in children
That's not
that is
really.
beyond
You need to be
the financial
available for the
aspect.
child emotionally, financially,
Yeah.
socially, spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
What about the part of prayer? What about the part of guidance, direction, counsel? Maybe those things happen behind closed doors. I may not necessarily come here. I will
Yeah.
not come here to say that, oh, they didn't do any of that. But
Mm-hmm.
then the bottom line here is speak up. Speak up, cry, shout, do your theatrics, whatever theatrics that is going to work in
It's true.
protecting your own, in protecting your child, in protecting people you love, your loved ones. Do it. Do it. So people will know that these people actually played a huge role. These
They
people
probably didn't
actually
feel, maybe
spoke
they
up.
didn't feel that. For me, I feel like they they didn't believe or they didn't expect that. You know how you feel like, well, they're going to do this thing, and after a while, they'll free the boy. So it's
Yeah.
almost as if you're hoping that one day all these problems will end, but they didn't
I don't
expect that.
think so because they knew how, especially
Yeah, they
from
probably said they thought it
going by
would
the
end, but they did not think
interview.
it was going to end with the boy dying.
I
Do you
know.
understand? They did.
But
I'm not sure they actually, thought that. I think it's one of those things that you feel like maybe one day he will stop attacking the boy. Maybe one day he will stop all this
no
harassment.
parent will
But
envisage such an end for their children or for their child. However, you should know that there could be slip ups. Anything can happen.
yeah,
Anything can happen in the process. How can imagine? Do you know what it crowd fighting, crowd beating? Do you know anything can literally happen to the person? Do you understand? So that's the reason why
yeah.
you don't just
I agree.
call it,
I
don't
agree.
call it a
A
bluff.
lot more could have been done, to be honest. A
A
lot
lot
more could have been
more,
done. And I think that
yes,
everyone who's involved will have that same guilt.
yes, they
Everyone who's involved
will.
will have that same guilt. Maybe some
Imagine.
to different extents. But I think even me that is here, I kind of feel like, wow, where was I? I
There's
never
something
asked for
she could have
anything.
done, right? I
You
felt
know,
that way. I
yeah,
felt that
because
way because that
I guess all of us are having that same feeling like, oh my God, maybe I
that
should have said something if I,
said
but I,
some
to be honest, I
exactly,
didn't know. I
exactly.
didn't know anything. But they themselves that were closer to the situation, I feel like they could have done more.
They could have done more. They could
But
have
I'm
done
also
better.
playing that devil's advocate where I'm thinking, okay, what are all the other things that could have cost them? Like if I put myself in that type of situation, what would my response be? What would I
Okay,
do?
Franca, imagine this. Imagine that the wife is crying out, calling out, same people, same names. Mother crying out, same
Mm-hmm.
people, same names. Father crying out, friends
Yeah.
crying out, same people.
Mm-hmm.
See, the more the voices, the I feel like the higher the chances of rescue. Do you understand? The
Yeah.
boy would have had a higher chance to rescue. But it felt like the whole thing felt like this person was chasing clout because I could even from from people's comments and everything, you could even hear and read where even when this boy went out to cry out, some people were calling him a clout chaser, an ingrate, you're an ungrateful
Exactly.
person, and everything. Good. Now you that know the story. Imagine the person is your child. You know the story. You know that this is not just about this. Imagine that the girl is crying out. The girl's
Mm-hmm.
family is crying out. The boy's family crying out. The boy's close allies, his friends crying out. Somebody would have heard something. Their voice, do you understand? It's you're amplifying one person's voice. You know, imagine one person singing in this room.
Yeah. But the people
Imagine
are
that you're the only
actually
one singing in this room. Maybe
I
it's just your
I
next door neighbor that will hear you
yeah.
sing. Imagine that you're the only one singing. Maybe your next door neighbor will hear you sing. Imagine
Mm-hmm.
your husband comes to join you. Maybe the people on the street will hear you. Imagine that people come, visitors come, guests come. You know the way parties
Mm-hmm.
though, when a party is happening in your house
Yeah.
and there's music, you're already
Mm-hmm.
making the world know because there are people are seeing that people are trickling into this place. The number is increasing, something is going on here. And that will raise curiosity. It will raise that like, what is going on? That's where people begin to know, oh, if this boy is crying out that something is going on, the mother is crying, the father is crying, the wife is crying. We need to really look into this. Something is truly brewing. Something is truly going on. But everybody decided to be quiet and be afraid. Now, to what point? To what end? The life is gone. We could have done something. It's better to do something
But
than
I
to
would say
just sit
this.
and fold your
Let
hands.
me just okay. So the other thing that comes to mind when I think about this boy's situation, and I hope I'm not wrong. Like I hope I don't misspeak here, but is it possible that irrespective of what they did, this boy could have still died at the age that he died?
Oh, everybody has their time.
So is it possible that this is a story?
It's possible. Let me tell you, everybody is destined somehow. But you see, destinies can be altered.
Because what if they do all of these things now and it turns out, yes, of course, the bullying and harassment, that one is standard. They can't, you know, and if everything is unraveled and they come out and say, well, these guys didn't have any hands in what eventually killed him, and
but it led up to it, because this boy became a hypertensive patient at 27, at 26, 27. Something led up to it, and you see the good thing, he kept on writing. He kept on writing. You understand? And the proof is there. The evidence is out there. He kept on writing. The point, see, destinies can be altered. One person can alter somebody's destiny. One person.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying that. That's why I'm saying that there's something. See, sometimes you will do one thing and boom, it turns into a big story, right? It shakes the whole world. Just that one cry. And this person is cried for so long and nobody heard him.
That's the reason why crowd crying should have helped.
So in
Crowd
my
crying.
quiet space, this is me thinking out from my quiet space. I've asked myself before, is it possible that this is this boy's story? Because how is it that one stupid somebody can just shout, hey, and then boom, this thing goes viral. Okay, the other day in is it Peckham or somewhere, they had this one video of a woman and a man having a tussle, right? And I don't know if you saw that story anyway. That's African shop that they've been clamoring for them to shut down in Peckham because it was a tussle. Like, he actually blew up. It's a big story in the UK. And I think a couple of weeks now, I don't know if it's still ongoing, but there's just been lots of conversations about that. It's just that one video. And the whole of the UK are talking about this. This faction is going against this faction and there's something happening. One scenario, one thing just happened. But then this boy has been screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming. Anyway, there's this Nigerian factor as well. But a situation where I'm just thinking to myself, how come we didn't hear him? How come I didn't even hear? Because I can assure you, until this boy died, I never heard anything. Like I've never seen a video of
he
him.
was just one voice. Because he was just a voice. If there were other voices that were added to it, they would have amplified his voice. He was just one voice.
So
That's where I'm coming from.
that brings me to the main people that I actually put the blame at their doorsteps. And I'm sure you're going to get to that.
Of course, we already talked about the police. We are talking about the country.
No, but
You
beyond the
understand?
police, no, I was going to the industry relationships. I was going
Of
to
course,
the bloody industry.
relationship failed. We've already talked about how volatile that system that system can
I
be.
think that's the worst. I think that's where the main. Forget about the parents, because I know that those ones was a no-brainer. Charity begins at home. The boy was already, for me, the boy was already gone before he left. Right? From the foundation that they put on ground already. It was already, there was no foundation there. But the industry, that were still famsing with Naira. They were still
That
friends with him.
knew.
They were featuring his music.
Those were for the people that knew that this was going on.
No,
Those are
but
people
that's
that
the thing.
believe.
That's the thing. That's the thing. They majority of them knew.
Well,
No,
we may not
no,
be
no, no,
sure.
no, 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 no. Majority of them knew to the point that some of them actually restricted him. The what they call the 𝙁𝙃𝙃𝘼𝙃𝘼𝙃. So the 𝙁𝙃𝙃𝙃𝘃 was forming, trying to, clouds or whatever, and then he put out the chat he had with the boy, and he forgot to remove the part where he put restricted. So he restricted the boys. So the boy is chatting to him, but obviously he's restricted the boy from speaking to him. So people who were, and that's the thing, and that's what the Naira boy was using against this dude,
Yeah,
because there's
because he
this
had
whole,
a higher hand. He had more
exactly, who
relationship.
are
He
you?
knew
Like,
more
who are you?
people.
I brought you into the industry. I made
Yes,
you.
yes. I
People,
made you and I can destroy you kind of mentality.
now because say people they shout now. That's why you're seeing them for me leaving that,
Mm,
I'm following. And that's the worst they're
mm,
gonna do.
mm.
That's the worst they're
Exactly.
gonna do. It's not like they did not hear. When this boy
So
said, when Kiss Daniel came out and said that industry is a cabal,
mm,
I know people that did videos cussing him out. The journalists that were working in that industry came out and were saying, "Oh, shut up. What do you know? Who are you?" They're trying to malign him, say all sorts of nonsense about his character and everything. And it was just that one comment he made.
now they believe.
So at the point, and at that time, this boy too was crying about his own situation, and everybody turned the blind eye. This boy, and can you not see how many people he's done songs with? So all those ones that he sang with,
No,
they did not know he was
do you
suffering.
understand? That's another thing. He did lots of collaborations with people, and now I'm now asking. That's another the other angle. The industry where he belonged also failed him. The people
I
that
think
knew,
for
the
me,
friends that
I
knew,
think for me,
the allies that
that's the
knew,
one that is more annoying to me.
the
And
allies
that's
that
because I
knew,
know
the
them. And
friends
because I
that
know those
knew,
industry people.
the close contact that the people that had a platform, that had a voice, that could have
Yes,
said something. After all, you are not a member, you are not a signee in a record label, so you can speak. You're not under
exactly.
their umbrella. So
Exactly.
people that knew something, friends, ally, people in the industry that knew about this whole story and did not say anything, did not speak up for him, did not call somebody to order, did not say, no, I think you're
Mhm,
doing too much.
mhm.
Every one of them are liable. Every one of
Of
them
course.
played a huge role. You understand? That led to of course, his unfortunate and untimely demise. Every one
Yeah.
of them. So these are all the relationships that failed him. And of course, the Nigerian factor. The Nigerian factor.
Oh,
And that's the reason why, when people say, when people make comments in the comments, they say, may Nigeria not happen to you. That was what happened to the young man. And they keep telling us, don't say it, don't stop saying in Nigeria, no, it happens anywhere. It
it's
happened to
Nigeria,
him.
and then there's also the police factor. Me, I'll still throw
Of
the police,
course, we have talked about the police
the
factor. We
general
talked
police,
about the
in
police
fact, the
factor.
police of the world. People they
There's
call
a
police. There's
Nigerian
something
factor
there.
as a country, and there is a police factor as well. There is parental negligence. There is police negligence. There is
Yes.
country, nation negligence, friends negligence, wife negligence. All these people
The
we have
medical
mentioned.
one. What about the medical one? Hi.
There, that's the last one I was coming to. Medical negligence. Medical negligence. Now, you see, I would like us to wrap up because I already 1 hour plus. I'm sure that people
Yeah.
are still watching. Please like the video and drop your comment, guys, if you're still
Thank you,
watching.
guys. Thank
We are
you.
good, but thank you for staying here. Thank you so far. We are going to be wrapping up now. So I would want to say this. You see, this young man, this is just an advice I want to put out there. The comment I want to make, and of course, recommendation. You don't have to take my advice. Hey, it's just Sazzy saying Sazzy's thing. Okay. You don't have to take my advice, but it's a recommendation. If anybody sees it or finds it wise enough, please, as much as possible, you can run with it. But if it's not intelligent enough, please don't mind me. Just call it a bluff. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Okay. But then, for people, health is, like we always say, the common saying, health is wealth.
Well,
We
as
must
well.
learn how to place priority on our health.
Yeah.
As a
Absolutely.
people, as a nation, as Nigerians,
Absolutely.
as
I
Africans,
totally agree.
we must learn how to place priority on our health. Now, this is the
Hmm.
area I'm coming from. I don't want to blame the person that has passed. I don't want to blame this young man because we don't see things. You know, when an unfortunate incident happens, that's where we begin to go to begin to point out the errors and the areas where we should have done better. But well, you know, life generally, we learn every day. We learn every day from good incidents, from bad incidents, unfortunately, but we learn every day. But everyone watching this, anyone that is going to see this, if there's nothing you pick from this life, please let us all learn how to prioritize our health by registering. Take any health HM, take HMOs, health insurance. Get insured, do a life insurance, do health insurance, do something for yourself and your family
Yeah,
members.
I agree.
Do
I
something,
agree.
because why am I saying this? If I don't know if this boy has any health insurance, I don't know. I won't come here to say I know anything. But imagine that he had a health insurance and he had a good hospital. He was making money. He had money. He was making money. You're supposed to, by the time they register, pick up a good HMO and then pick up a good hospital in that island where they live. There are lots of good hospitals. Pick them up, because anything can happen to you. Your wife will be aware. You will be aware. I will be. Everybody will be aware. Okay, if anything happens, this is our hospital. This is where we go to. Do you understand? Because the press release today that came out, now we not got to hear that one of the suspects as we speak is a quack. In Nigeria, they call them auxiliary nurse. There is nothing like auxiliary nurse. I'm sorry to burst anybody's bubble, but that is a quack. I don't believe in anything called auxiliary nurse. If
So
you
it's
are,
actually just learning.
whether you're learning or not, are you licensed? Are you licensed to prescribe? Are you licensed to give injections? Are you licensed for that? Even if you're learning anything, you're not licensed. You're not licensed to do it. You shouldn't do it.
Yeah, that's I think that, yes, the health insurance is very important, even
Health
even here.
insurance is important. Imagine that
Even here
even
with all the free healthcare, there's still that
yes,
you still want to be able to have it, because
exactly.
sometimes you're in a situation where you can't go and queue up, and you can't be
Exactly.
waiting months on end before somebody gets to you. But there's also, Nigeria happening to people. And the idea, sometimes it's frustrating for us here that you go to a pharmacy and ask for something and they say, oh no, you have to go to your GP and go there to go and get that prescription. And then it's kind of frustrating, like, oh, if it's in Nigeria, I'll get it.
Oh, for long run.
But now, when you look at countries that are structured and
You can see
that,
the importance.
yes, because on what basis will you just wake up and go and inject somebody that
When
they
you are
have?
not
Do you
licensed,
understand? Like,
you are not a professional. You're
what's
not a
the
medical
diagnosis? Like, what was
professional.
happening there? Who's the doctor that
Exactly.
said you can do it? Do you
Exactly.
understand?
No
This one
diagnosis,
time my
nothing.
I had my sister-in-law one time went to a pharmacy. I was telling you the story the other time, and there was an injection they gave to her. I think that injection is supposed to go to your vein. I don't know how that. I don't know what that. I don't know what, but I think the person that injected her put it in the wrong place. It was supposed to be shot directly into the vein, or it was supposed to be shot. It's not supposed to be put in the vein, but they put it in the wrong. They injected her in the wrong place in Nigeria there, and just in front of everybody, this woman just fell down and collapsed.
That's sad, man.
Her son was quite proactive, so he screamed, started calling his uncles and aunts, abroad, that, oh, my mom's just passed out. We don't know what happened, and everybody's making calls and calling up the doctors, like, where did she go? Where did she go? She went to a pharmacy and they gave her that injection. Can that happen in the UK? Impossible.
You will not try it.
Impossible. The
Even
last time I had one abscess, I went to the pharmacy and I said, oh, sorry, can you check this way? The man just said, sorry, I'm not looking at you. Go and meet your GP. Like, he didn't even
straight,
want to see me. He's like,
straight,
sorry.
because
After, sorry, love, go to your GP. There are
exactly,
doctors there that will tell you what to do. If you can't
exactly.
go to your GP, go to the A&E or go to one of
Because
the
the
call
system is
111.
structured. because
Do you
the system
understand?
is structured. There
So
are
I don't
things you are
know.
not allowed to do. There are things you're not permitted. If you're not licensed to do it, you are not permitted to do it. You can't do it because you will be liable if anything goes wrong, or even right. Even if it goes right, you will still be liable.
Exactly.
When they get to
Exactly.
know that you did what you're not supposed to do, you'll be brought in, you still be liable. And like I told you before, ignorance of the law is not an excuse anywhere in the world anyway. Ignorance of the law is not an
It's in
excuse.
Nigeria
So
though.
maybe like I
But
don't,
maybe Nigeria
our
is not part of the world.
great Niger. I love
Great
now.
Nigeria. No, I'm not trying to malign Nigeria. It's
No, we
just
are
that
not. We are not.
my
That's the
only
reason
worry
why
is
we are
that I don't
speaking
want them
up.
to sweep this into, because I just feel like when all this pressure dies down, although, kudos to all the Gen Zs, and, there's some parts of these Gen Z people that I like, is the fact that
Mm,
they follow through.
mm.
But, at the end of the day, you don't want children where all this noise, and after a while, everything just dies down. And
No,
we go
it's
back
not going to
to
die down
state
because
of
people
play.
are watching. The world is watching. This thing has gone way beyond the shores of Nigeria. The international community is watching. It has
True.
gone way beyond Nigeria. So that's the reason why they are being careful to ensure that
Yeah.
they do the right thing. So that's why I believe that it's not just going to be swept under the rug. No, it's not going to be business as usual. That's the reason
Yeah.
why they are trying to, ensure that they are doing the right thing. But after
Yeah.
all this, by the time people who did whatever they did to Mohbad, justice should be served to anyone that is found culpable and guilty, over the
Mhm.
untimely death of this young man. Justice should be
Yeah.
served. And then afterwards, even there should be there should be laws. They should enact laws, whatever. Like when I spoke
Exactly.
to you today, you said
I
maybe
think they should
Mohbad
actually
law
do one
or
for Mohbad.
something.
I think
Yes,
there should be a bill, a health bill
yes, there should be a health
in
bill.
honor of that boy.
Yes, to speak up. If you are not licensed, do not prescribe. If you are not licensed, do not do anything. As long as you are not licensed, people should have access to medical care. Unfortunately, it be one kind back home. But then,
Yeah.
as long as you are able-bodied, you are working as an individual, you have a job, you are working, please pick HMO. Get one health
Yeah.
insurance. Go to a hospital. Let me tell you an incident that happened. Now, this is another story again. The importance of health insurance. That's the reason why I'm crying for this health, because I personally believe as well. I might be wrong, but it's a belief I have. I personally believe that if this young man was registered, had his own a hospital where he's registered, and they know that these
Yeah.
are doctors, qualified doctors that take care of him and everything, if anything happens, both for him and his family. I personally believe that the moment that happened, that injection happened, and it triggered the situation. They
Yeah.
should have rushed him immediately. Maybe the wife should have
Mhm.
called the hospital, run quickly and go there. Know the name of the medication, the injectables they gave to him, and then they will know how to flush the system. Maybe CPR would have been done. You understand? To save this young man. Something could have been done if professionals
Mhm.
were there. But no, because this person is ignorant. This person is ignorant. This person that, and please, let's surround ourselves with enlightened people as
Yeah.
much as we can. Let's surround ourselves with enlightened. Now, what is the story? Um, one of the days I remember and see my husband somehow came back, and then we had a week fasting, and then he was on the mountain, he was waiting on the Lord,
Mhm.
so I think he had stayed away from food for some days and everything, not like he
Yeah.
didn't eat at all, but he would not eat late nights and just like that. And before we knew it, he had this attack. You understand? He had this attack, and it was horrible. It was bad. When somebody is
Wow.
screaming for life, you understand? I had to
Mhm.
rush him. I had to call people immediately. Let's move this man, please. I called everybody. We
Wow.
moved him straight to the hospital, and this happened before we finally relocated here in 2021. And then
Mhm.
we moved him straight to the hospital, and they attended to him ASAP, did all they could do. It was a struggle. I know what my eyes saw with him that day and the following day. It was not easy to calm the system and everything. It was not
Yeah.
easy. Imagine that we kept him at home and say, oh, call somebody to come to the house, come and do this. No. And let us
Mhm.
see, please, anyone that sees this, do not, health is important, life is important. Let's please no matter how minute we think it is, self-medication is not too good. It's not good, not too good. It is not good to self-medicate. When you see that this is not going down well, move straight to the hospital. So even the health sector has a role to play that they failed in. But I'm not going to blame the health sector so much if really and truly the story happened that way. Because after they had called someone to come home to administer this, whatever injections they are, and they said 3 different injections. Wetin do am? Kilo day. Wetin do am
So
when
my
3
take
different
on
injections?
that from the health I'll blame the lawlessness in
Is the lawlessness of the country.
the lack of structure in the health sector in Nigeria,
Yeah.
and the idea that you can walk in and just take whatever or buy. Because my question is, she's a nurse. Where did she get injection from?
She's not a
Where,
nurse.
yeah, but whatever, whoever she is, though, where
We
did
should
she get
not give her
injection?
that title. People work
Okay,
hard.
so
People
auxiliary
work hard to
madam,
be
where did
called
the auxiliary
nurses.
madam find? Do you understand? Like, where did you
She's a
find what
quack.
the injection you are giving to somebody? Do you
Exactly.
understand? So the
Exactly.
question is because you can easily pick up these things in Nigeria.
Access these things.
You can buy
Easily
it on the
access them.
street. You can get it. Do you understand? You can go to, and that shouldn't be the case.
You and I know that over here, they are selling
No, it's not
medication that you
possible. It's
cannot
not
get
possible.
off of the
It's
counter.
not possible.
It's not
There
possible.
are even some medications that you give to your child that you brought from Nigeria. I fear not gonna let you go tell them for hospital to say you
Eh?
give them that.
No
No,
even
they're
think
not
am, no
born
even
there.
try am, no even
Do you
do am.
understand?
In case you dey
Exactly.
watch this thing, make I speak am for pidgin. No do am, no
Not
try am,
try
no think
yourself.
am.
Not try yourself.
And then of course, don't self-medicate as well. Please go to the
Yeah.
hospital. Let's not self-medicate. It's not helping. There are a lot
No.
of angles to this that could have saved this boy's life. But you see, negligence on every side.
Yeah.
People did not play the role that they were supposed to play. A lot of people, almost everyone around him did not play the role that they were supposed to play. So these are all the relationships that failed Mohbad. So we are going to reiterate it again. The medical system, it failed Mohbad. The parents
Uh-huh.
of Mohbad failed Mohbad. The
Uh-huh.
wife of Mohbad failed Mohbad to a
Uh-huh.
certain extent. And we're not saying they failed him completely. These names we are calling are people that failed him to an extent because we feel like they should have done better. Okay, so the medical system to an extent failed him. The country, Nigeria, the
The
system,
friends. The
they
friends.
failed him. The police failed him to an extent. The friends of Mohbad that knew his ally, people he did collaborations with, that knew about the story, the industry, the music industry, who is even the president of PMAN, who is the president of the music association or whatever, just where Nollywood is. Nollywood, they have a body, they have an association. If anything happens, they know who they are calling and who they are reporting to. Who is even the president? That at least if there's any form of bullying, any form of attack, any form of anything, there's somebody you can call. There's a group, a disciplinary committee, something. You can
Yeah.
pick up your phone and call and say,
Uh-huh.
look at what is going on. My manager is doing this to me. My record label boss is doing that to me. This person is destroying me. There is somebody to call. So the music what's it called, the music system or whatever it's called, they failed him. They failed the music industry failed him
Yeah.
as well.
Uh-huh.
So almost
No,
everyone around him.
that industry is a dog eat dog
Yes.
industry
So
anyway.
almost
So
everyone around him failed him. And I would like to say before we end this, you can be a Mohbad tomorrow.
true.
I can be a Mohbad tomorrow. That is the reason why we have to look out for each other. That is the reason why we have to
And there,
speak
and
up
there
for
are
each
lots of
other.
Mobads. There are lots of Mobads in your workplace. There are lots of
Exactly.
people. So there's something they call allyship. When you see
Yes.
someone going through stuff, please speak
And
up.
you don't speak up.
Yes, speak up.
Let us
Say
speak up. Stop
something.
covering up.
It
Stop
may not
covering
be. It may
evil.
not be your personality to do so. It may not be like.
Stop throwing
But
your eyes off from
yes,
evil.
you need
Oh,
to
it's not my
speak up.
business. It's not my business. I don't have any. Let's not do this. And say no to bullying. Bullying of
Absolutely.
any kind. Bullying from
Absolutely.
childhood.
This is my
Hashtag
activist
say
side.
no
Say
to
no.
bullying. Yes, please. Somebody should drop it in the comment section if you're still watching this. Please, I want everybody watching. Please just do this one thing for me. Please put in the comment section hashtag say no to bullying.
Yeah.
Hashtag say no to bullying. Let's stop it. If you see your child that is bullying another child, do it immediately. Stop them right away. Because it starts from childhood.
Yeah.
And parents overlook all these things. Say no to
Mhm.
bullying. Because
Saying no to bullying.
all these people we have called were they played a role. They were complacent in one way or the other. They
Of
played a
course.
role, to the demise of this young man. It truly hurt everyone that came to know, because he felt like Mohbad is your brother. Watching his videos, listening to all he went through. And I'm going to say it here, not because I'm trying to make myself feel good or look good. I tell you, Franca, I cried for almost 1 week for this young man. I cried
Wow.
and cried and cried every day. I watched I listened to I saw videos, I saw bullying, I saw every attacks, I saw what he said. I listened to lyrics of his songs I do not listen to normally. I don't,
Yeah.
in my phone, it's only gospel music I listen to be very
Mhm.
honest. Not because I'm looking down on any other genre of music, okay?
Mhm.
It's okay to listen to what you like and everything.
Of course.
Because of how much I was so invested in understanding this story, in knowing what led to this. I was shattered, broken, because it was
The truth
just too
is
much
that there
for
are
one
still so
young
many
boy, a
Mohbads in
boy of
Nigeria.
27 years old, a superstar, someone that could have done better in life. He has a child, for God's sake. He has a son who is going to stand up for that young boy.
I
They took
know.
his father at a young age. He has a baby of 5 months old, for God's sake. So everybody around failed this young
It's
man.
sad. It's a sad one.
Failed this young man. And there is not one person that has come out to say this young man was evil. This young man was this. It has always been positive things about him. How gentle. And you can even see it in his demeanor. You can see that he's a gentle person. He's not much. You can see it. Even the record label boss himself. I don't know if you saw a particular video where the record label boss spoke. That was when all these attacks were happening. He spoke
Okay.
one of those days and said that Mohbad is not a fighter. He said it with his own mouth. Because they were trying to accuse, each time he comes out to speak up, they say, oh, he was high on something, on cheap drugs,
Yeah.
or he was intoxicated or something, or he's just telling lies,
But
he's doing
had
it
a
for
mental
class.
health
But when
struggle,
he
something
said
like
he has mental illness, no problem.
that.
But he still said in one of those videos but one thing is going to assure the world is that Mohbad is not a fighter, that he's not a fighter. He has never fought anybody before. He's a calm guy. He's a gentle boy. He doesn't fight.
Wow.
Yes, I'm going to look for that video and I'll send it to you, Franca. I saw even that, at least coming from the mouth of the record label.
And
So
then they intimidated him until he died. What a shame.
probably because they took advantage because he was on the campsite. So you took advantage because he wasn't a fighter.
Let me
So
just see this. Say this. I think this boy carried his nonsense behavior, what he does here in the UK, or what he used to do here. He took that over
well,
to Nigeria.
I pray that justice will be served. I pray and hope that justice will be served. Now, even if they did not, even
Let's
if
say
they didn't have
that.
a
I'm sure
hand,
he regrets that. He regrets saying
I
that now.
pray and hope, even if they didn't have a direct hand, somehow anybody that did anything, that were involved in one way or the other in bringing this boy to his knees and finally to his untimely death,
I think that
everybody
are
should be.
upset about are more upset about the bullying than the fact that the boy passed. Yes, the
Yes,
boy passing is sad, and there's a lot to unravel there. And he could have passed by any means. It could have been an accident. It could have been something else. But the fact that until he died, he lived in fear.
live in
He was being
fear.
intimidated. I think for that reason alone, people should not allow this situation happen to another person in that industry
Exactly.
or any industry at all.
Exactly.
But
I
it's been
said
great chatting
initially.
to you guys.
Yeah.
It's been great. I've had a wonderful time,
Thank you
having this
so much. This is
conversation.
already this is at 1 hour 27. Thank you for those of you that
Thank
stayed
you.
this long. We didn't really, honestly, we didn't want it to stay this long, but well, it happened. Thank you so much for coming. And thank you so much, Franca, for coming here. Like I
No
told you, we're going to
worries.
have lots of other videos to do. Maybe this time
Thank
around,
you. Thank you for
going
having me.
live. I know people don't really like staying on live for so long, data and everything and time. So we
Oh
can
yeah,
just do pre-recorded
data. Oh
videos.
yeah, Nigeria. Okay,
Yeah.
that's true.
So we can also do pre-recorded videos on other topics that I've already put out that I will talk to you about after now. So
Okay,
we can
no
come
worries.
and talk about it. But thank you so much for coming on this show. I truly, 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 truly appreciate your response,
No
for,
worries.
it
Thank you,
just on
guys.
a
Thank you
short,
for
short,
having
short
me.
notice. Thank you so much, and God bless you. To everyone watching, hashtag say no to bullying.
To bullying. Say no to
Hashtag
bullying. Is that the sign?
say no to
Hashtag,
bullying. Hashtag say no to bullying
hashtag
on
say no to
Fenica.
bullying.
Yes, say no to bullying.
All
God
right.
bless you,
Thank
and stay,
you. Take
stay
care.
safe out there. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. And please do well to like, subscribe, turn on post notification, and share the video as much as you can. People out there need to hear this, and they also need to learn something from it. God bless you. Stay safe. Love you all. Bye.